Welcome back to Cash Flow, where we are still talking to founders about what they need to do to migrate their business to become an actual growing, scaling business. And I'm going to talk to you like I talk to most of my founders because I'm expecting you might be out there calling bullshit on me. And that is a trigger because I know I'm right about this because I've seen it and done it and worked with people who've managed to make the change, and I've seen what happens to people who don't. So go ahead and call bullshit on me. This time I'm going to try one more approach to convince you you are absolutely wrong and I am absolutely right. How's that? So here we go. You are the most expensive employee in your business, and not just because of what you're paid. If you even are able to pay yourself right now because you haven't bothered to get yourself out of the middle of everything. Usually founders who are in the middle of everything can't pay themselves because there's no money to, because they're costing the business so much money, and it's an opportunity cost. What do I mean by that? You should be out there generating more revenue, coming up with new ideas, putting those new ideas out there and socializing them to make sure they work, helping your team understand how to do things on their own. That's the work you should be doing. And every hour you're not spending doing that is basically taking your revenue and chopping it up and throwing it away because you're not out there getting more of it and making the profit higher because you're doing things more effectively. Your time isn't free. Okay? I'll go back to, I know this is the hardest shift you have to do, but I'm honing in on it because we have to do it. It's not something that's optional here. Every hour you spend doing somebody else's job because you're not willing to give it over to them delays systems, it creates dependency, and it crowds out leverage. And business is all about leverage. If you're ready to scale, you know that. You want to put in as little work as possible to get as big a return as possible. And every little bit that you put into the wrong thing costs you big return that you could be getting if you were spending it on the right thing. Okay? And you don't feel it right away. Like, you're not going to know this immediately. You're going to know it in the long run. Growth is going to stall. You're going to finally be so exhausted you just stop. All right? You're either just going to say, I don't want to do this anymore, which happens a lot, or you're going to literally get sick. You're going to end up down, disabled for whatever period of times, and things are going to crumble because the business does still need you everywhere. And we call this the Ferrari problem, right? Here's what happens. This one sticks a lot sometimes. If you use a Ferrari to deliver pizza, you're still delivering pizza and you're still getting pizza delivery money. The customer is still getting fed, but it's a tragic use of Ferrari power. Okay? That's the example. That's you. Your time is high octane, man. You built this thing. What you contribute just expands exponentially, and we want to get more of that to let the business grow. So in order to do that, we need to, here I go again, get you out of the way. Because when you're burning your energy on these low leverage tasks, you're not failing necessarily, but you're definitely misplacing your value. Okay, so why is this so hard, right? It's easy for me to stand on the other side having seen it over and over and over again, but I've been here myself. So I know when I'm standing where you are right now that it seems impossible. And it really feels impossible. But let's break that down. You don't keep doing replaceable work because you don't trust people to do it. You're doing it because it's familiar, because it gives you immediate relief. You're doing something that's familiar, and because it feels deceptively productive. Checking something off the list feels good. Fighting the fire feels good. Being the hero feels good. And if you want to be a hero, that's okay, but don't scale your business. Because if you're going to successfully scale your business, you're not going to be a hero anymore. You're going to be a leader. And there's a big difference. We need to stop you defaulting to doing the wrong things. Here's the hidden trade-off you're making, right? Every time you say or think, I'm just going to handle it. It's going to take too much time to show somebody. Nobody's going to get it. It's too complicated. Every time you do that, you are trading a short-term efficiency for long-term leverage. And what is scaling a business? Long-term leverage. You're building something big. Okay? Speed makes it easier for you today. You'll have a better day today because you'll get through more stuff faster, but that stuff doesn't add value. If you put that time instead into what gets leverage, training somebody else, building a system, casting a vision, That's what's going to make tomorrow possible as a big expanding business. So the sentence that could stop you cold, if you say this, and I'm betting you do, if I don't do it, it won't get done. If that's part of your vocabulary, it's not a compliment to your work ethic. You are not doing well in a scaling business. You personally are making a very bad decision, and that sentence, if I don't do it, it won't get done, is actually a warning. It means the systems don't exist, the owner's going to burn himself out and not exist, and no one in your organization's been trained to succeed. And it's not going to be solved by more effort from you. It's just not. It's going to fail. But it can be solved by design. And I want to give you a tool to do that now. Should have said that at the beginning of the episode before I started yelling at you. But I'm going to give you a tool to do that now. I've been giving you tools to figure out what you're in the way of. Now I'm going to give you a tool to figure out how to help yourself get out of the way of the things. Because we really want you now, and this should excite the hell out of you, designing decisions, building systems, teaching people how to exercise judgment, getting the friction out of the way, thinking ahead, casting that vision, okay? You don't want to clean up the same messes over and over again. You don't want to substitute yourself in whenever a player's broken. You don't want to be the permanent backup plan anymore. So here's what we're going to do. Because there's a moment when it clicks, right? And this is what I'm trying to get you to. Unfortunately, it comes normally when they're exhausted because they've been working way too much and at the wrong things. It's not a scheduling problem, right? It's not a scheduling problem. Your calendar's not too full. It's a leadership transition problem. So here's the assignment. And we got a worksheet here for you, just like always. I never leave you without a worksheet. And you don't have to print this out and do it on the worksheet. It's the concepts I want you to get. It leads you through some really good questions that I want you to spend time on because it is so worth it. I want this business of yours to scale. I really, really do. And we can do it this way. You're basically going to track, and this gives every leader chills, but you're going to do it because it's worth it. You're going to track one full workday, writing down everything you do. Okay? At the end of the day, you're going to categorize it. I'm replaceable in this role, or should be. This was good leverage. I've spent good time here. And this was avoidable. So your three categories are it's replaceable, it gained me leverage, or it's avoidable. Then you're going to pick one of those replaceable tasks. Just one. We're not out to change the world in a day. You're going to pick one, and in this coming month, I want you to design yourself out of it. An example, I have a client who right now is the only guy who can do sales because the sales order process is so complicated. The pricing is complicated. The details that go into it are complicated. You know, there are hundreds of different things that have to be assessed when they're putting a bid together. He cannot design himself out of this process. Hasn't done it yet. And it is hard. But if he picked that as the first thing on the list, then what he's going to do is figure out how to move himself out of it. And that's what this worksheet's going to do. Because once you identify that first place and you get past the emotion of having to get through it, you're going to now decide what is the design change I need to make. And now we're moving into the next episodes that we're going to cover here in the next chapters of the book, which is, okay, you win. Pam, you beat me down. 4 episodes of telling me I don't need to be the hero anymore. I need to change my ways. 4 full episodes of that. Tell me what I can do. And we are going to now move into talking about design and how you can get yourself out of the middle of all this. Okay, so take a look. Let's find the right thing. And one of the reflection questions that's on this questionnaire that I'd like you to think about, whether you look at the spreadsheet or, the worksheet or not, is my time is most valuable when I am, and fill in that blank. Okay? Step away from what's going on and recognize. You're going to know because you've listed some of the stuff you've done. Sorry, my puppy's thinks I'm yelling at her. But you're going to find and list those things that you're actually getting leverage from, and that's what you're going to fill in that sentence with. My time's most valuable when I am, fill in the blank. All right, you get with that exercise. We're going to come back next week with the next episode, moving right on into the next chapter. This whole series that we're doing will work you through from becoming a founder to being ready for exiting your business. And I'm glad you're here on the journey with us. Take care. Have a good week.